Hello and welcome to another quiz from Balderton Church. It's good that you have been able to join us again and we hope that you enjoy tonight's quiz. Just a quick recap, there will be 5 rounds as usual, 10 questions in each round. You will only have to write A, B, C or D on your paper for the answer. And I think that's all you need to know really. As usual, there will be a chance to pick up some bonus points and round 5 will be a wipeout round. But let's see what the rounds are tonight because we have got a theme. And the first round is cars, round 2 is trains, round 3 aviation, round 4 musical transport, and round 5 the wipeout round. So it's blatantly obvious that tonight's theme is transport. So let's see how well you know your transport. Let's move straight on to round 1. Cars. Most of us drive a car or at least have ridden in a car, but what do we know about facts about cars? Let's find out. Question 1. Lada is a make of car manufactured by which country? A. Italy, B. Germany, C. Russia, or D. USA? Which country manufactures Lada cars? Question 2. What does the commonly used automotive abbreviation ABS stand for? Is it A, automatic boot system, B, another best seller, C, acid battery system, or D, anti-lock braking system? What does ABS stand for? Question 3. The film The Love Bug follows the adventures of a Volkswagen Beetle called Herbie. But what was the number on Herbie? A. 43, B. 53, C. 63, or D. 73? What number was painted on Herbie? Question 4. CH is the car international registration plate for which country? A. The Czech Republic, B. China, C. Greece, or D. Switzerland? Which country has CH for its registration plates? Question 5. Henry Ford's quoted as saying, "You can have it," that's the Ford Model T, "you can have it in any colour as long as it's..." What colour? A. Black, B. Red, C. White, or D. Blue? What colour did you have to have for the Ford Model T, according to Henry Ford? Question 6. Which was set up first? A. Green flag, B. AA, C, RAC, or D, Go Compare? Which of those came first? Number 7. Which car brand includes the Defender and Discovery? A, Vauxhall, B, Land Rover, C, Toyota, or D, Hyundai? Which brand has a Defender and Discovery? Number 8. What is the distinguishing feature of a cabriolet car? Is it A, the engine's in the boot, B, it's a four-wheel drive, C, it has a retractable roof, or D, it's a two-seater? What's a cabriolet car? Number 9. In 2020, the British government announced plans to ban the sale of non-electric. In what year? Is it A, 2025, B, 2030, C, 2035, or D, 2040? In what year do the government plan to ban non-electric car sales? Number 10. James Bond is famous for having what type of car? A, a Porsche, B, E-Type, C, Lotus, or D, Aston Martin? What type of car is James Bond famous for? And that's the end of the car round. So it wasn't that bad, was it? We didn't have to know the mechanics of the car, so perhaps the females of us are all right. We'll move to round 2. And round 2 is all about trains. Question 1. Who was the leading actor in the train film North by Northwest? A, Cary Grant, B, Burt Lancaster, C, Charles Bronson, or D, Richard Harris? Which actor was in North by Northwest? Number 2. Which rail station has a record 67 platforms? A, King's Cross in London, B, Barcelona Sands, C, Grand Central in New York, or D, Porta Garibaldi in Milan? Which of those has 67 platforms? Number 3. In which city would you find the Gare du Nord railway station? A, Stockholm, B, Paris, C, Berlin, or D, Amsterdam? Where is it? Question number 4. Which two cities did the original Orient Express run between? A. Paris and Istanbul. B. Naples and Geneva. C. Berlin and Brussels. Or D. Ostend and Tripoli. Where did the original Orient Express run? Number 5. Who links the Railway Children film, which was 1970, and the BBC series Call the Midwife? A. Vanessa Redgrave. B. Miranda Hart. C. Jenny Agutter. Or D. Laura Main. Who links the Railway Children and Call the Midwife? Number 6. In 1830, which locomotive built by George Stephenson became the first ever commercial train and reached a then record speed of 30 miles per hour? A. Salamanca. B. Tornado. C. Red Arrow. D. Rocket. Which of those was built by George Stephenson? Number 7. Which train officially became the first steam locomotive to reach 100 miles per hour in 1934? A. The Flying Scotsman. B. Blue Peter. C. The Mallard. Or D. Red Arrow. Which of those was the first to reach 100 miles an hour? Number 8. The National Railway Museum is in which city? A. Birmingham. B. York. C. Glasgow. Or D. Manchester. Where's the National Railway Museum? Number 9. What was the name of the report in the 1960s that reshaped the British Railways? A. Balfour Report. B. Grayling Report. C. Beeching Report. Or D. Baker Report. Which of those reports reshaped the British Railways in the 1960s? And question number 10. In which rock musical does a child's train set magically come to life with engines competing to become the fastest engine in the world? A. Station Awakening. B. A Chorus Line. C. Starlight Express. Or D. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Which of those musicals has a train set competing to be the fastest engine? And that's the end of round 2. So we'll move swiftly on to round 3, which is all about aviation. Aviation. Question 1. Which sleek aeroplane's name meant harmony? A. Vulcan, B. Victor, C. Concorde, or D. Canberra? Which of those means harmony? Question 2. What is the name given to the US President's aircraft? A. Marine 2, B. Air Force 1, C. Flying High, or D. Command Point? What's the name of the US President's aircraft? Question number 3. The plot in the James Bond film Thunderball is centered around the search for which type of bomber? A. Valiant, B. Victor, C. Vulcan, or D. Phantom? Which of those planes is searched for in Thunderball? Number 4. What are roundels? A. The national insignia used on military aircraft. B. Another term for undercarriage. C. The ejector seat. Or D. The dials in the cockpit? Which of those are roundels? Number 5. The many planes used for the shooting of which film in the late 1960s were called the 35th largest air force in the world? A. Pearl Harbor, B. Dam Busters, C. The Battle of Britain, or D. The Constant Gardener? Which of those films had the 35th largest air force in the world? Number 6. Which city has the most dangerous airport in the world? Clue. The evasive measures taken during the landing are nerve-wracking. A. London, B. Cairo, C. Tehran, or D. Baghdad? Which has the most dangerous airport in the world? Number 7. Who were leaving on a jet plane? A. The Seekers, B. Peter, Paul and Mary, C. Take That, or D. Sonny and Cher? Who were leaving on a jet plane? Number 8. Pilots use the phonetic alphabet when speaking over the radio to avoid any confusion. What word is used for the letter F? A. Frozen, B. Foxtrot, C. Friend, or D. Falter? Which word is used for the letter F in the phonetic alphabet? Number 9. How old do you have to be to fly a solo glider in the UK? A. 14, B. 16, C. 18, or D. 20? How old to fly a solo glider in the UK? And the last question before the break, question 10. An aircraft can sometimes hit air pockets, causing it to be a bumpy ride. What's the term for this? A. Bumps, B. Taxing, C. Turbulence, or D. Thermals? What's the term when an aircraft hits air pockets? And now we'll move to see how many you got right, and we'll do the answers. So the answers for round 1. Number 1, C, Russia. 2, D, anti-lock braking system. 3, B, 53. 4, D, Switzerland. 5, A, black. 6, C, RAC. 7, B, Land Rover. 8, C, retractable roof. 9, C, 2035. Or 10, D, Aston Martin. How many out of 10? Questions for round 2 are as follows. Number 1, A, Cary Grant. Number 2, C, Grand Central in New York. 3, B, Paris. 4, A, Paris and Istanbul. 5, C, Jenny Agutter. 6, D, Rocket. 7, A, Flying Scotsman. 8, B, York. 9, C, Beaching Report. 10, C, Starlight Express. Again, add them up. How many out of 10? I'm sure you're all doing very well. And we move to the answers for round 3. Question 1, C, Concorde. Question 2, B, Air Force One. Question 3, C, Vulcan. Question 4, A, National Insignia. Question 5, C, Battle of Britain. Question 6, D, Baghdad. Question 7, B, Peter, Paul and Mary. Question 8, B, Foxtrot. Question 9, A, 14. And question 10, C, Turbulence. So now you should have answers out of 30. It seems that last week lots of people did really well, There was 2 lots of leading scorers with 56, so the wipeout round really helped. It helped Julia to get 51 all by herself, and it helped Mark and the Hobson family to get 56, and Jan and Pete to get 56. Can anybody beat that? But I've already offered Mark a challenge. Can he, in these last 3 quizzes, get a full house? So get every question right and the wipeout, double points, and 3 bonus points. It could be done, and it could be done today. So let's see, if you're doing okay so far, can you manage to get a few more bonus points? So now let's see then if we can get some of you 3 bonus points. Tonight, the bonus points all have a tenuous transport link. We're going to show you 10 pictures of famous people, and the famous people's name have some reference to transport. Might be a bit tenuous in some places, but it's all in the sound of the name. We're going to give you no example to start with, so you're going to go straight in. There are 10 famous faces. All we need is in the 20 seconds you to write that famous name down. Okay, so at the end of it, we will see who we've got. So it's over to you. It's in the name. Wasn't that bad, was it? So let's see how many you got. Number 1 was Alan Carr. Number 2, Tom Cruise. 3, Vincent van Gogh. 4, Mariah Carey or Carey. 5, Karl Marx. 6, Graham Norton. 7, Jimmy Carr. 8, Harrison Ford. 9, Jason Donovan. And 10, Michael McIntyre. Told you some of them were tenuous. But how many out of 10 did you get? So, as usual, if you got none of them right, you don't score any bonus points. If you got 1, 2, 3 or 4 correct, score 1 bonus point. 5, 6 or 7 correct, score 2 bonus points. 8, 9 or 10, 3 bonus points. So I'm rather thinking there might be some 3s tonight on the bonus points, but I don't know. We'll see. So that's the bonus questions. Let's move on to round 4, which is the musical transport. So as the title suggests, you will need to listen to a piece of music and then answer the relevant question. So, question 1. Listen to this song.
All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi.
That was Leaving on a Jet Plane. Who wrote and sang the song? A, Don McLean. B, Glenn Campbell. C, John Denver. Or D, Justin Bieber. Who wrote and sang Leaving on a Jet Plane? Number 2. Listen to the tune from a film.
Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang. Oh, you pretty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you. And in chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, what we'll do near, far, in a motor car. Oh, what a happy time we'll spend. Bang bang.
Which of these did not star the singer you just heard? A, Mary Poppins. B, Curious George. C, Sound of Music. Or D, Diagnosis Murder. Which of those did not include the person you heard singing? Number 3. Listen to this instrumental. That was Chattanooga Choo Choo. Whose band played the tune? A, Billy Cotton. B, Acapulco. C, Benny Goodman. Or D, Glenn Miller. Whose band played the Chattanooga Choo Choo? Number 4. Listen to this remix of a well-known tune. Which Womble has a link to the tune? A. Wellington, B. Orinoco, C. Tobermory, or D. Tomsk? Which Womble links with the tune? Number 5. Listen to this protest song.
We got us a front door, good buddy. Mercy sakes alive, looks like we got us a convoy.
Arizona, noon on the 7th of June, when they highballed over the pass. Bulldog Mac with a can on back.
What were they protesting about? A. 55 mile an hour speed limit. B. Police brutality. C. Banning of CB radios. Or D. The cost of diesel. What were they protesting about in the song? Number 6. Listen to this Australian band.
Riding along on a pushback, honey, when I noticed you riding downtown in a hurry, honey.
In which year was the song released? A. 1960, B. 1970, C. 1980, or D. 1990. When was the song released? Number 7. Listen to this song.
Arrows fly right on by, but I'm singing a happy song. I'm singing the higgity, haggity, hoggity, high. Pioneers, they never say die.
That was Three Wheels on My Wagon. Who was chasing the pioneers? A. Cherokee, B. Navajo, C. Sioux, or D. Apache? Who was chasing the pioneers? Eight. Listen to this sad song.
At a deadly pace. No one knows what happened that day, how his car overturned in flames. But as they pulled him from the twisted wreck, with his dying breath, they heard him say,
What was the name of Tommy's girlfriend? A. Julia, B. Ava, C. Laura, D. Maria. What was the name of Tommy's girlfriend? Number 9. Listen to this song.
Home, I've done my time. Now I've got to know what is and isn't mine. If you receive my letter telling you I'd soon be free, then you'll know just what to do. If you...
That was Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round the Old Oak Tree. Who was singing with Dawn? A. Peter Kay, B. Tony Orlando, C. Tony Christie, or D. Ricky Valance? Who was singing with Dawn? And the last musical question, number 10. Listen to this singer coming home.
I am sailing, I am sailing home again, across the sea. I am sailing.
Who was the singer with the distinctive sound? A. Mick Jagger, B. Lee Marvin, C. Rod Stewart, or D. Tom Jones? Who did you hear singing? And that was the last music question. So that was the end of round 4. And now we move to round 5, which is Wipeout. If anybody hasn't played it before, you do it in practically the same way. There are 10 questions, all of which you will still need to write A, B, C, or D for the answer. But if you get all 10 questions right, then instead of scoring 10 points, you can score 20. You can double your points. If you don't know an answer, leave it blank. And then if you get all of your questions correct, you can score the number that you get correct. In the example on the page, it was 6. However, if you try to answer the questions and as soon as you get one wrong, instead of scoring the number that you would have scored, your score is wiped out by the wrong answer and you score 0. So is it worth trying to get 20 points tonight? Are you doing really well and you think you might be able to get a full house? Let's see how easy the wipeout questions are. Question 1. Who presents the BBC documentary Great British Railway Journeys? Is it A. Jeffrey Archer, B. Chris Grayling, C. Michael Portillo, or D. Alan Johnson? Who presents the Great British Railway Journeys? Question 2. Which taxi service in Bangkok gets its name from the spluttering sound of its engine? Is it A. Brum Brum, B. Whir Whir, C. Tuk Tuk, or D. Chug Chug? Which is the name of the taxi service in Bangkok? Question 3. The name of which British budget airline based at Leeds Bradford Airport is also its website address? A. BMI.com, B. Flybe.com, C. Ryanair.com, or D. Jet2.com. Which of those airlines is based at Leeds Bradford Airport? Question 4. The ferry MS Herald of Free Enterprise capsized moments after leaving which Belgian port in 1987? A. Ostend, B. Zeebrugge, C. Amsterdam, or D. Le Havre? Where was the Herald of Free Enterprise leaving? Question 5. Opened in 1994, what is the common nickname of the Channel Tunnel? Is it A. La Tunnel, B. Trench, C. White Elephant, or D. Chunnel? What's the common nickname for the Channel Tunnel? Number 6. Its first schematic was designed by Harry Beck in 1931. What is it? A. The London Underground map, B. Heathrow, C. Spaghetti Junction, or D. The Highway Code Book? What was first designed by Harry Beck in 1931? Number 7. What ship was found floating with no sign of her crew? A. The Mauretania, B. Titanic, C. Marie Celeste, or D. The Hind? Which ship was found with no sign of her crew? Number 8. What do the initials HGV stand for? A. High gliding vehicle, B. Huge general vehicle, C. Hardly going vehicle, or D. Heavy goods vehicle? What does HGV stand for? Question 9. What colour is a black box flight recorder? A. Orange, B. Red, C. Yellow, or D. Blue? Which colour is the black box flight recorder? And the last question of tonight's quiz, number 10. Which is not a railway station on the original Monopoly board? A. Fenchurch Street, B. Marylebone, C. New Street, or D. Liverpool Street. Which of those is not on the original Monopoly board? And that's completed the quiz. I'll just give you a few seconds to decide if you want to cross any wipeout ones out. Okay, round 4 answers. Number 1, C, John Denver. Number 2, C, Sound of Music. 3, D, Glenn Miller. 4, B, Orinoco. 5, A, the 55 mile an hour speed limit. 6, B, 1970. 7, A, Cherokee. 8, C, Laura. 9, B, Tony Orlando. 10, C, Rod Stewart. Marks out of 10. So far you've got marks out of 43. But the wipeout answers, let's see how we did. Number 1, C, Michael Portillo. 2, C, the Tuk Tuk. 3, D, Jet2.com. 4, B, Zeebrugge. 5, D, Channel. 6, A, London Underground map. 7, C, Marie Celeste. 8, D, heavy goods vehicle. 9, A, orange. And 10, C, New Street. Have we got any cheering or any groans? Add your scores up, and again it's out of a total of possible 63. How well did you do? Have anybody tied? So therefore you need the tie-break question. Perhaps we should have asked Mark and Lucy and Jan and Pete to have told us their tie-break answer to see which was the overall winner last week. But let's have a go. Even if you don't need it, it's probably fun just to see who gets the nearest. So tonight's tiebreaker question is this. As of 2020, how many astronauts and cosmonauts have died during spaceflight? So in total, how many astronauts and cosmonauts have died during spaceflight? Write your answer down. How many do you think? Astronauts and cosmonauts. The total number who have died is 19. So there was 15 astronauts and 4 cosmonauts died during spaceflight. Others have died, but not during the spaceflight. So have we got a winner? Well done. Thank you very much for taking part in tonight's quiz. Just a reminder, we've got 2 more quizzes left until the end of August. So we hope you're enjoying it, and we hope to see you again next week. So good night and God bless you all.